Hello everybody, this is Shylor, and tonight we're going to be starting our HTML course. So one of the things we need to learn right away is how to do HTML tags. Now an HTML tag looks something like this. Now this has an opening tag, so that's an opening tag, and it has a closing tag. The only difference between the two is that the closing tags have a slash in it. Some tags only have an opening tag, so this isn't part of some of them, so you'd only have something like this. And some of them have attributes which allow you to give a tag more meaning. So you can do attribute value, and then you can give it even more attributes. So multiple attributes on the same tag. And if we put the closing tag back on here, you can tell that that an attribute only goes within the opening tag. So you would never do this. This would not work. You can't do that. You can only put them in the opening tag. So this is an example of a tag with some attributes in it. Now attributes can be in any order. There's no requirement, so this attribute could be in front of this attribute. Doesn't really matter. That's what you do. You just put your attributes in. So let's start with some tags, and you'll start to understand more about how this works. So the first tag I'm going to show you tonight is the paragraph tag, which you use to open a paragraph. So I'm going to go ahead and open and close my tags right away. And if I go right between these, I can type a message. Now actually, before I do that, I'm going to hit save, and this actually refreshed over here and nothing happened. Now if we view source, you can see, don't look at that. If you view source, you can see that we have our tags here of P and closing P, but nothing happened on the screen. So what does a paragraph tag do? Well, we can just write a paragraph. That's actually a sentence, but so this is a paragraph, so this is what it does, and honestly you can see that that's pretty much what it does. Now the funny thing is if you take these off and you just save it, you pretty much get the same result. So it feels like there's not really much happening when you add these tags, but later on as you get into other things like CSS, JavaScript, and even some other HTML things, you'll be able to do some more advanced stuff, more advanced code with the paragraph tag. So it's always wise to put your paragraph tags in. So that's a paragraph tag. The next one we'll look at is H1. So as you can see, I open and close these right away. That way I don't have to worry about closing it later, because sometimes you forget and that causes problems. So what is an H1 tag? Well, this is used for a header. So if I type that in and refresh it, you can see that's much larger than a paragraph. So if we put a paragraph right underneath it, you can see that there's a major size difference here. Now the cool thing with the H1 is that you can actually do different sizes. There's up to 6 sizes, and they start with 1 being the largest. So I'm going to go ahead and change these really quick, so that way you can see the difference. So as you can see over on the side, it's refreshing to show you. So at H4, it's pretty much the same size as a paragraph. There's also H5 and H6. So those are the different sizes that you can do. And that's pretty much a header tag. When working with search engines and stuff like that, search engines really like the header tags, H1 through 6, to identify what your main topic is of your page. So use them, but don't overuse them. Don't use them like on everything, but use them as headers and to describe your page, because search engines really like that. So that is the header tag. And the next tag we're going to look at is a link tag. And a link tag allows you to link to another page. So, or to another page or to another website. Now we don't have another page here, so that's not going to help much. But if I wanted to link to Google, So I'll just go ahead and put that there. If I wanted to link to Google, as you can tell, I can't click on it or anything like that. Sorry about that. I can't click on it, I can't do anything, but supposedly it's supposed to go to Google. So in order to make this actually work, what we need to do is we will wrap A tags around it. A stands for anchor. I know that's kind of weird, kind of like a boat anchor, I guess. And it has some meaning in old HTML, but yeah, so you will start remembering this over time. I never have to look this up at all, so it's just something I know. As you can see, it still doesn't allow me to click it, and that's because the A tag requires those attributes. Now, the first attribute is href, and as you can see, this box here is suggesting different tags to me. So if we do href equals, and remember that format, so you have the name of the attribute and then the value. So the value is, in this case, is going to be http://google.com. And if I refresh this and you look over on the side, instantly it got the blue link, and if I click on this, I will go to Google. However, there's a slight problem here, and the problem is I clicked on it and now I'm away from my website, and the only way to get back to my website is to hit back. So if you link somebody to a website, and let's say they do some things on the website and stuff like that, well, it makes it really hard. Even if they hit the back button 20 times, it makes it really hard for them to get back to your site. So what we can do when we link to pages is we can actually add another attribute, target equals, and then this one's kind of weird, so you do _blank. As you can see, it's suggesting it to me, and now it looks the same, and it's already refreshed and everything, so it looks like the same link, but if I click it now, it will actually open up a new tab. So now you can see we have the new tab, and I can actually flip back and forth between these two tabs, and that's really helpful when you're working with websites and you want to, offer links to your users but not necessarily lose the user. So you can open them with a new tab using this target blank. If I don't have that, like I said, it just uses the same tag. So that attribute with the _blank, you got to remember the _blank, instantly allows you to open a new tab. Now, like I said, attributes don't matter the order. So if we move target before this href, there's no difference. It still works the exact same way. There's no tag where the attribute actually matters in what order. So right now you're probably thinking, like, how am I supposed to remember href and stuff like that? Well, if you have a pen and paper, scribble this down. But over time, as you use these, you will start to memorize them, and you'll know what you're doing. So don't worry about it too much. You can always come back to these videos. There's other resources online that you can check out to look stuff up really easily. So that's how we create a link to another page, and we also open a new tab. Now the next tag is going to work with multiple tags. So what does that mean is we're going to write one tag, which is the UL tag. This stands for unordered list, and I'm going, as you can see, most of these tags I've been doing them on the same line. So I open it, do my content, and then I close it. In this case, I'm actually going to go down 2 lines, do UL, and on Atom, when you start to close your tag like this, and then you put your last your greater than sign, it will instantly snap it over to against the edge. So that's one of the helpful things. You'll get used to that as you go, so that way you don't try to correct it. If that was the case and I went down here, I might start doing this, be like, oh, well, I need to go over here, go back over here and then finish it. So it does kind of snap it over once you put the greater than sign on there. Now if I refresh this, nothing happened, and that's because ULs by themselves really don't do anything. It's still in the code and you can still see it, but it doesn't do anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit tab, and inside the UL I'm going to open an LI, and I'm going to close the LI. As you can see, this one's back on the same line that I started it on. However, you can see that the li is also within the ul, and that's very it's very beneficial for you. That's one of the reasons I have this little spacing here. This is called nesting. So if I were to just do this, it's kind of hard to tell where one tag starts and one tag stops. And when you have a lot of tags, you'll see this more. So when a tag is inside, so when these ULs are, or LI are inside of the UL, it's really good and handy to tab them in, so that way you can keep them organized. Now, if I type something in here, item 1. So here, this stands for unordered list, and this stands for list item, and that's why I have item 1. So this is list item with item 1 in it. If I refresh that, you can see item 1, and you can see that it has a bullet point here. This is just like doing PowerPoint presentations or anything like that. You just have a bullet point. Now, if I want to add a second list item, I can do another li underneath the first one, and I can say item 2 li. Save it, and we can do another one. So now we have 3 different items in our list. Now the other cool thing you can do, if you want, is you can copy this A tag, and we'll take it out from there, and we'll just put it inside of this li. As you can see, we have li. We're opening the A tag, putting in our target and our href. We have our Google word that you'll click on, and then we close the A tag, and then we close the li. Now, if we save this, you'll see that the first list item is now a link to Google, and it works the exact same. Now, I'll go ahead and revert that back. But yeah, so this is kind of how tags work. As you start seeing us actually building some websites and stuff like that, you'll start to notice how these all kind of play together. So far we've looked at unordered list. If you actually change this from UL to OL, and we have to change it down here also, and we save it, you'll notice that these have changed from bullet points to numbers, and this is actually ordered list. So that means 1 through how many ever list items you have. Now, a really cool thing we can do is, as you can see, we have this indented. So we have these LIs indented inside of the OL. Well, underneath this LI, if we want to, we can actually create another, let's just do a UL here. And we'll go ahead and close it. And then inside of this, we can do another LI. And we can say item 1A. And as you can see over there, now you have item 1A. And we can just copy this. And then we can do this to 1B. And as you can see, they're indented. Now, the other thing to note is that these are hollow. And that's because it actually understands that you're indenting that inside of the other one. So if we change this back to UL, you'll notice that it's like that. Now we can even copy this, and we can put that inside of that. And I know we're getting some UL inception here, but what you'll notice instantly is that these are now squares. So it actually understands that you have these kind of all nested together. And that's where I'm going to stop tonight. Tomorrow we will be looking at the image tag, learning how to put an image on your site. And we'll also be looking at tables and a few other tags that are beneficial for you. So that's a little bit of some HTML for you to get you started. Let me know how these videos are, and subscribe if you like them. Thanks.